I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin. Oh,
wow.
I didn't know we were going to get a strobe light today.
That's what I'm talking about. Here we go.
Here we go. Welcome.
Yes.
We are doing the Ozark Season 3, Episode 1, After Show Review. My name is Lauren LaGrasso. I'm so glad to be back at AfterBuzz TV, and I'm here with the amazing Tenere Williams.
Oh my gosh, you make it sound so good. I'm so glad to be here with you and with all of you out there.
Oh my gosh. Well, Tenere, I had so much fun watching the episode with you.
Man.
Some people, you know, there's lots of different schools of thought. Some people think you shouldn't talk at all during an episode. Some people like to talk. I really like talking, and it was nice to be with someone else who I could debrief with in real time. And then now we're getting to go in depth.
Right. Well, yeah, no, I'm not one to sit and be quiet. Like,
Yeah.
I know my family, my brother and I, like, we are very animated TV watchers, movie watchers.
Yeah.
Like, we get into it. So, yeah, there was going to be no quietness.
It's called having a personality.
There we go.
Welcome to us. So we've got a lot of amazing topics for you. We're going to be talking about Wendy and how she's pretty hungry for power. We're going to talk about Marty and Ruth. I almost read that because I'm looking at, there's a little thing off screen. I thought it said Mary. I was like, who's Mary?
A little behind the scenes. That's how it goes down.
Mary and Ruth and how they're laundering money and all the other little offshoots of that topic. And good old Darlene.
Darlene
She is
showing.
back.
Oh, man.
She is back with a vengeance.
You got to love some Darlene.
She's got a pocket knife. She's not afraid to use it on your
She's
tire.
not the one to mess with.
No.
Even with a baby on her chest.
No.
She's like,
She's like, well, you know what? This is just making him stronger.
yeah. She's like, you will not be weak.
So I want to know what your overarching thoughts of this episode were.
Oh my gosh. Well, like I said, I love the reason I love Ozark because always their episodes within those first couple minutes, they always just give you something that it's like, what? Like, or, you know, that gets you thinking. And this was no different. Opening scene starting off with the cartel going off. I was like, here we go. Starting off season 3. So I loved it. Love all the storylines. It's going to be a good one this season.
Yeah, and it was action-packed. I mean, one thing we were talking about when we were watching was how quick the cuts were. It was like 1 minute you're with one character, then you're with another. And I mean, they really fit so much in, but it was almost cut like a music video where it's shot, shot, shot. And that was so interesting to me because they clearly had a lot to get in there. And it was pretty masterful in the way they did it, that everything made sense within the world and all the storylines perfectly weaved together. Even when you thought one thing was separate, they all came together at the end and showed how intertwined everything in this world is.
Right.
So I think there's a lot to look forward to this season.
Oh my God, I'm definitely excited. So shout out to Ozark writers and you guys setting it up. Let's do this.
I'm counting my lucky stars I get to watch this show. So let's get into the first topic. What do you say? What say you?
I say let's do it.
Okay, let's get into Wendy and her hunger for power.
Woo!
And her solution.
Right.
So a lot going on here.
Yeah, no, Wendy, like you said, even start going back to the last season. I mean, you really saw Wendy step it up where she was becoming more of taking charge. You know, she was knocking off political people or you know, just kind of taking charge of the whole family franchise. I mean, the last scene of last season, everybody's thinking they're about to get out, and she's like, "Oh no,
I'm the captain
Marty,
now.
we're staying." He's like, I'm sorry, what? You know, like, wait a minute. And so she picks up right where she left off, and I think she was still trying to play nice with Marty, as we saw. You know, she's trying to discuss it, like, "Hey, I got a solution," and he's just like, "No, not feeling it." And she's like, "What?" But she's like, "No, I will not. I'm not taking that. No, I'm going step above."
Right. She's not playing with weakness anymore.
No.
And I think the interesting thing is really, I mean, obviously now Marty's just kind of given into the fact that this is his life, and I guess he's going to have to do whatever comes to him because he's trapped, quite literally trapped. But she initially didn't want to get into this situation. And once she realized, like, she's in it, she's like, you know, I've always been ambitious. She worked in politics before this. So I might as well use that kind of approach I took to politics in this new phase of my life and approach it like a businesswoman.
Right.
And I respect that. You know?
No.
If you're going to be a criminal, do it masterfully.
And you know what? And it was funny because when she was explaining the situation, she's like, dude, we can do this stuff legitimately. You know, he was like, except for the drug money that it would take. And she was like, yeah, but, you know.
Technicalities.
And like you said, I mean, it was funny that Marty would say that because you're looking like, dude, look at all the stuff you're doing at the casino. You know, I mean, none of this stuff is legitimate. So how would you even be able to come down on her for her idea? Like, you're the, you know, end all be all. And he says like, you know, oh, I'm trying to be, you know, protect the family or, you know, do all
I'm
this
trying
stuff.
to be good.
We're already deep in, you know,
Yeah.
so.
Might as well swim.
And it was funny because like you said, when he got that voicemail from her, it was just kind of like okay, you know, there was no like, what? I can't believe it. It was just
I'm
like,
just waiting for him to completely explode.
And like you said, I feel like he kind of had a mini one with Ruth in there when he was watching the surveillance.
Yeah.
But it was just
it was more like another thing.
Right.
But you know what's funny is he's so deep in this now that like Ruth kicking a guy in the nuts and who's not just a guy, by the way, the mob boss's son,
Frank Crosgrove
in the nuts,
Jr.
and then kicking him off the boat into the cold waters. I presume they're pretty cold,
right?
And possibly bringing him great injury. Was like, I gotta go fix the furnace again.
Right.
Like that's the equivalent of what it was.
It's like one step forward, the two steps back. You know,
Right.
It's like, man, just as we always are about to get stuff going, then something happens. You know, so
yeah. But with Wendy, it was really interesting. I mean, like, there's a couple things going on with her storyline. So the first thing I want to talk about is that, like, I love that it started out with a picture perfect image of what they are as a couple, like what they represent to the community. So it's this commercialized version of them where they're smiling and talking about how lovely it is on the boat and how you should come vacation there. And it slowly devolves from there, right? So you see them talking about couples therapy. They're kind of fighting. They're fighting over this idea because you know, she thinks that they should be engaging in these other businesses that are offshoots of the casinos. He's against it. But in their own way, they're each doing something, like they're all both engaging in the power struggle, except she's doing something that's actually going to like drastically change the course of his life, while he's like hiring an actor or maybe a therapist who's corrupt to take his side in therapy. So like the moral lines are like clearly in Marty's favor in this instance.
Right.
But it's just, I don't know. It's really interesting to see how she's turned full on heel.
Oh yeah, no, it's
or maybe not heel, but like corrupt for sure.
Yeah, no, she's like you said, she's and I it's almost like because of the situation, I like respect that. Just like, hey, you know, we're in this. We got to do what we got to do. I feel like Marty sometimes he's doing stuff like, hey, we're just trying to get by, and she's almost taking like a long-term effect. Like, hey, this is a way. You know, like when she was talking with the Navaro, the drug cartel, she's like, I'm trying to set you and your family up. You know, like I'm sure he had never had anybody like, hey, man, who's thinking of my kids?
Oh my
gosh.
Like that, and so. I mean, it was a risky way in which she did it because she wasn't like, she did say we're both parents and we don't know what's going to happen. But before she said that, the first thing she opened with was, you could be dead in 6 months.
6 months.
Which
gone.
Maybe a guy like him who is deeply he's around violence every single day. So maybe that does engage with him mentally. It at least woke him up. He was eating a pork chop or something. And then all of a sudden he wasn't eating the pork chop anymore.
Right.
So, but that was such an interesting way to take the first line. Then she switched to, your children, take care of your children. We're all parents here. But she was a badass even in that meeting.
Oh, yeah.
The one thing I loved that they did with the writing, because we watched it with subtitles on, would you call it that? Captions on.
Right.
She stuttered a lot of her words, which I thought was such a cool choice, because even though she was coming on strong with her energy and with her language, it was still showing the fear that was in her.
You still realize who you're in front of. Like,
right.
I mean, he's the head of one of the biggest.
Crush you like a spider.
Yeah. So you're like, I mean, I can't come in all, big time, like, because he'll be like, hey, I'll cut you down like in a second. Like, it's kind of like respect who you're talking to. But in the same vein, look, I have this solution that we can do. And like apparently he was in agreement with it, so.
What do you think of her decision to go over Marty's head?
Ooh, I think she's in a mode, like she's always looking out, like I said, for the family and doing, so I think she's in a mode where it's like, look, whatever it takes to get things done. And she fully believes in her idea. So she was just like, hey, I can't stop. It's kind of like people tell you in life, like, you know what? Don't talk to the lower level people. Go to the manager, and that's what she did. She went to Helen. She went to Navaro. She's like, Marty, you're the low level employee at the front desk. I need to get something done. I need to talk to the manager. So that's what she did. She's like, I'm going straight to the manager. So you can't knock that hustle,
I don't knock the hustle. There's just, their relationship is so broken. Like, how do you even sit in the same room with that person, let alone be married to them?
That dynamic is just so amazing. Like, we're trying to survive, but like you said, the marriage is on the rocks. He's paying off therapists. Like even that little bit of almost like, I don't know if it's pettiness
It's
or
so
like,
petty. It's so childish.
you know, like,
I mean,
I still need to get my way. Even
Right.
within therapy, I'm going to sink to paying somebody who, like you said, we don't know if she's an actress or maybe just a local who
what
was
was
just
her
like.
name? Was it Sue? I
think
wrote
so.
it down.
Something real.
Oh, but like, I can't wait to learn more about her. Like, how did he find her? How did he approach her? Because Wendy is very smart and can read people. Like, is she wise to this at all? Like, obviously she said, oh, she's on your side, but does she have any inkling what's going to happen when she finds out? Like, this is kind of, I love it when these big shows that are dealing with huge problems, like the mob and the cartel and just crazy people who want their drugs.
Right.
Like, I love when these shows who have these crazy problems also bring in a superhuman moment. Like, the therapist likes you better than they like me.
Right.
And then this funny thing that, like, obviously none of us are, well, hopefully none of us are going to pay off our therapist to agree with us rather than our spouse. But, like, we could, when I watch it, I was like, all right, I see what you're doing. I would never do that myself, but good move. Never would have thought of that.
And the fact is, be like, is she even a therapist?
Right.
You know, like
she could be an actress.
just
And
like
if she's an actress,
right, maybe she has just a set,
God bless her.
schedule of questions. Like, all right, I'll just say like, oh, okay, yeah, Wendy, why don't we do,
Yeah.
like she has no, I feel like you said someone may call her out or like Sue. The waitress from the diner or something. Like, what? Like, yeah, that's going to be interesting how that all plays out. So,
Yeah, it was Sue. I love Sue.
Love
Can't wait
some
to learn
Sue.
more about Sue.
right.
So, yeah, I'm really interested to see where Wendy takes everything. I mean, I wonder if her, and Helen, I mean, that was a big part of this too. She, poor thing, was getting waterboarded.
Woo. Helen's in it deep too.
Helen's in it deep.
I mean, we thought she was just the super strong one. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's like a hard ass coming in, Even she can get some too, apparently. Where,
Right.
When that waterboarding was going through, but she was a champ too. Like, just taking it, saying, I don't keep my I keep my family or whatever. They don't know. And she just came up and was taking. I'm like, man, that's right. I was like, Helen is nails, man. Like that, she's one not to be effed with.
Yeah. She's a bad bitch.
Yeah.
Her and Wendy belong together. Yeah, it's nice to see. It's nice to see the girls sticking together.
For real, man. No joke.
So, as you know, our show is completely free of charge to you. We do this because we love it.
Yes, we do.
And it is out of the kindness of our hearts and of AfterBuzz TV. But the one thing we ask in return for this beautiful free content is if you could just go ahead, it takes like literally 30 seconds of your time, like, rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend about a show. If you really like it, what you should do is take a screenshot of yourself listening, post it on your story, tag me and Tenere and AfterBuzz TV. I will always repost it to show my gratitude. I can't speak for Tenere.
Look
He
at
may have,
Lauren.
some post standards. I'm just like, yeah, bring it on, bring it on.
Boom.
But
She's in
yeah,
there.
it means so much to us. And, and it's a great way for us to engage with you and talk about the show. So please do so.
Yes, sir. Do
Yes.
that. Leave some comments. I'm a comment guy. So if you go on, you leave comments. I like
comment
responding.
back? Aw.
I'll get in there and engage some folks on some topics, and we got some hot stuff to talk about. So I definitely will be
Burning.
definitely be interested to see what you guys think and what your guys' hot takes are.
Hot takes.
Hot takes.
Speaking of hot takes, Marty and Ruth laundering money. That's a pretty hot take.
Really? These two. Okay.
The
You know
dream
what?
team.
Man. So first, when I saw Ruth show up back up in the picture, you're kind of like, okay, what is she into now? Because Ruth is just always just the little dirty mouth girl, just, going off, doing things, running the casino now. Now she's got some real power walking around. Comes in contact with our boy Frank Cosgrove Jr. For those of you who watch Power, that was Tommy. So
Tommy!
Switching over. I'm like, look at Tommy doing big things. Dang. But he's coming in, so he's the mob boss's, he's the son of the Kansas City mob boss. So he's obviously coming in thinking he can do some stuff. But Ruth is not one to be pushed around. She's seen some stuff and she's done some stuff. So you just coming in talking tough is not going to do nothing.
Not for her.
No.
No,
As we
no,
saw
no.
at the end, she lifted that foot, was like, pow, right? And woo, pushed him down. And he's not a small dude. So I was like, well done.
No. I mean,
Ruth.
we were both talking about how we thought that there was some sexual tension between the two of them.
For sure.
I still think something might happen.
It could. Because, you know, he might be one of those guys like, I like how she's all like rough and stuff.
Yeah.
And just like not taking any stuff. And then they put that into, you know.
Oh.
Woo!
Let's see it.
Come on.
Come on. That's a tease for something that we're going to talk about later.
Oh,
it's a very
buddy.
subtle tease.
Cannot wait.
The subtle tease.
You guys are in for a treat.
Rice Krispies. So, yeah, Marty and Ruth are laundering money. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You know, Marty, we've talked about him a lot this time. He's like reluctantly saying yes, he's going to do all these things.
Right.
Helen gave him a very serious talking to that he was not being asked if he could launder money. He was being told he must start doing it.
Right.
So he comes up with this idea of putting the money in the boxes that go into the casino so that it can get mixed in with the clean money and no one's any the wiser.
Marty is so, I mean, he be coming up with some stuff. You'd be like, man, that is a
He's
good
scheming.
Like, I always think, like, when people, you know, see the episode, they'll be like, that is a good, like, I hope no one tries to rob some casinos or like, doing this kind of stuff.
I bet you some, I mean, I'm not as worried about the casinos as I am, like, that therapist thing is definitely going to happen.
Someone's like, I'm going to just step in here. Like, I'm for sale. You need me to, you know, you need me to step in? I got you, man.
I got you. I'll be on your side.
Right. Here's the price, though.
Oh, my God. That's the, like, ultimate and narcissistic sociopath behavior.
My gosh.
But yeah, so that was interesting to see. Like, I had no idea about that piece of casinos.
No.
Just from like a human perspective, that was interesting.
Little educational piece.
Little education.
Right. Well, I was concerned about, well, like you said, the way that things went down at that the table that Frank Cosgrove Jr. was at. After Ruth did her job on him, now I'm thinking, like, is he going to go back? You know, because he was talking tough, like, you don't want to do this. Because I'm looking like, dang, he's going to go back, tell his daddy, like, oh, you know, she embarrassed me or something. And, like, I think Marty had already mentioned, he was like, dude, we just paid the mob a whole bunch of money, basically, to get off our back so we could get this casino and this boat. So now if he's going to go about messing with his son, maybe that's going to be like, hey, now we gonna need to come in. We gonna need to get our share or something like that. That's why I know Marty was like, no, Ruth, we just got things straight, and now you may be troubling the waters again. But we wouldn't have a show if there was no troubling in the waters.
I know.
So.
That's what's so upsetting about these shows that we love. Like, you're rooting for the characters to be okay, but at the same time, if they're okay, there's no show.
Exactly.
So,
and we're not here getting all buck wild about stuff.
What a dilemma. And then there was this really interesting scene between Marty and Agent Evans, who is the former lover and boyfriend of
Agent Petty.
Agent Petty. Speaking of Petty.
That was, I thought, at first when he popped in his head and we see him, I was like, like, is he going to try to call him out at the table or what's going on? Mm-hmm. But they go have their little meeting. And like you had mentioned when we were watching it, it was always like Marty always has to be, I mean, so everybody know, you know, we saw that Agent Evans basically trying to come and get him a deal because he knows about this stuff with his association with the cartels. And you know what? Agent Evans basically says that Navaro and them are going to lose, or that they're losing this battle.
Yeah. And eventually someone's going to cave and tell on you.
So you might as well try and get a deal going right now. Mm-hmm. And of course, Marty's face, he's just looking almost like I'm sorry, like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't, you know.
How are you that straight face?
Right.
Like, somebody asked me like something that I kind of don't want to tell the truth about, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, you know, how does he?
He's just like, really? Oh, like, what is this you speak of?
Yeah.
You know,
like how
what?
do you not show any emotion?
He's good.
You know, he really is. And to see somebody talk to you and just not speak back to them.
And just be all calm. Just like, okay. And he's just like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not. That's good. Jason, you good, boy.
Yeah, Jason's good.
We love
But
it.
Marty's better because, I mean, like, that's for the disbelief that we're having to suspend to watch this. Marty is that good of an actor that he can just keep a completely blank face.
He's just calm, like you said.
Calm as a cuke, as in Cumber.
He's he does it, man. Like you said, and it's like it seems like every episode he's got to do something that he's just got to be like, pull it together. Don't, you know, because on the inside he's probably like, oh no, here we go, you know. So it'll be interesting. That's another storyline. Evans, you feel like Agent Evans is probably going to be kind of always in the weeds, like, I know what's going on. I'm waiting for you to slip up.
Yeah, and he's a lot more sane than Petty was. So at least he's like a nice, strong, calming presence.
Right. And then I'm wondering if he might do stuff like out of vengeance, even though, you know, he was talking about what's her name's dad. Can't remember his
Oh.
who killed Agent Petty.
Yeah.
But if he might just be like, I'm out for blood. I'm coming after you, Marty. Like, you know, type.
Ruth's sad.
Yeah.
I just got what
We're just.
you were saying.
So yeah, no, I think that's going to be another storyline to keep a
little eyeball on.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think we can move out of the Wendy and Marty topics without talking a little bit about their kids. So it's very clear now that the daughter, what's her name again? Charlotte's Web, is now involved in the business. And she's drinking.
Right. I already see, like, she seems a little more. Well, first of all, we see her in the opening when she's like, okay, mom and dad, you going to therapy? I was like, what?
Yeah.
But I guess they made some deal probably where it's like, okay, look, you know,
yeah,
we need to be somewhat of a normal thing. You guys need to abide by
And if she wasn't
rules.
going to emancipate herself, because remember, she wanted to do that whole scheme. So
yes.
if she wasn't going to do that, then she needed to assert some boundaries for herself. And it's so sad because I was thinking about it when we were watching it. I'm like, if she turns 18 in this house, then she's going to be charged as an adult for the accessory and also participant she was in a lot of these crimes. That's like terrifying.
That will be interesting. Well, I feel like even just from this first episode, it feels like she's grown up like some. Like last season, like season 1, you just felt like she was like my mom and dad, like throwing tantrums, and you're just like, oh, this little girl, like I want to. Which means maybe you played that role, because I was like, you'd be getting me mad, like, oh my gosh, she's gonna blow the whole thing. At least this episode, she was just all like, hey.
Seems like she's taking after Wendy now.
Like she's kind of like you said, internalized, like, hey, we're in it. This is what we got to do. And I feel like you said, that maybe that she's part of it, that she knows it. Maybe she's kind of like, okay, because before it was kind of like you felt Wendy and Marty were trying to protect her, you know, the kids. And now she's just like, maybe that makes her feel grown. Like, hey, I'm in the family biz.
I think part of it, too, is maybe she couldn't respect her parents before because they weren't fully committing to it. They were saying, oh, yes, we're doing these bad things, but we don't want to do them. We're good people. We're good people. And now her mom is fully like, nope, I do these bad things, and maybe I am bad.
Let's do it.
And so maybe it's easier for Charlotte to respect her parents now that they're more deeply in and committed to it and admitting what they're doing.
I like that. Yeah, because like you said, she was in the meeting with when she was talking to the dentist about REO Speedwagon and all that. The wagon. I was like, okay, like I didn't know that was a thing. Maybe it was to REO Speedwagon fans out there. But yeah, she's in there taking notes or giving, you know, so like you said, maybe Wendy was just like, yeah, come on in.
Girl boss.
We need help.
And then our final topic is Darlene and the offshoots of Wyatt and slashing tires.
Wow. Well, so we see Darlene in the little, like you said, mommy and me
class. Group. It's pretty jarring to see her face there.
And they're not even ready for what's about to.
The close-up on her face was actually the scariest thing in the whole episode.
I mean, Hurricane Darlene has like landed in this group, and they were just, you know, like the mom was talking about the powder feeding, not powder, formula.
Yeah.
And she just blows it up like, oh, well, she's not, you know, at least the baby's not a formula feeding or whatever. She just got mad about. She said the mom
was like high on breast milk and like all the hormones running through her body. She must have misseen something.
Right. She's like, I don't have time for this nonsense. You know.
She slashed her tires.
And then she comes out, like you said, knife, boom, straight to the tire. Lady's like,
but
really?
Can you imagine, like, the fact that lady still reported it? I guess I would have reported it to the police, but like she must have been scared that she was gonna get stabbed after witnessing someone stab a tire. Because she didn't just slash it. Like when I picture someone slashing a tire, I picture them like she stabbed
it. She came in with
violently,
that.
like she was wishing it was the woman.
Right. Like that was that no joke. Like I've done some stabbing before. Like not like I'm struggling
this is my
with
first
it.
Stab?
Yeah, no, it was a clean. Like I'm in and be out, and then the stare down through the window. You know, afterwards, like what you gonna do?
And then the contrast of seeing her be so sweet with that baby.
And that's what I'm wondering. I'm like, man, that baby, he's gonna come up. Like she's gonna teach him some ways. You know, like
all the ways.
Somebody's need to watch out for whatever. I forgot the baby's
We'll
name,
see if it's nature versus nurture because he did have really nice parents, biological.
Right.
This is a great case study.
Yes, indeed.
Ozark. And then interesting thing that tied together. So we haven't really talked about this yet, but we do see Ruth's cousins that she's very close to.
Yes.
Or that she once was close to, at least in Wyatt's case, throughout the episode. Wyatt's squatting in someone's house. We were talking, we're like, whose mansion is he in? What's going on here?
At first, I was thinking like, maybe he used Ruth's money and he's just squandering by buying stuff because he's living large.
In a beautiful bathtub. A bathtub's nice if your knees don't pop up.
There you go. And his knees were well below the water. Doing bong hits, and he's a tall man, so you can tell, like, you're
long
like, yeah,
legs.
Probably a nice deep
pool.
Deep And yeah, come to find out, the two little kids come in like, Mom, what's going on? And you're like, Wyatt, what?
And Mom just happened to have a taser in her purse.
Just come strapped.
Tased his neck.
Which was kind of, it was interesting because he was just like, yeah, I'm just going to go like it. And she was just like, oh, okay, wait till he goes by. And then it's like,
I respected her being that calm. I definitely don't know that I would have been that calm if I saw someone in my home. No. But he did look pretty harmless. I
was going to say,
he was in an apron.
Wyatt is not the most intimidating like figure. So yeah, she was just like, but I still don't trust you though.
He said, can I go get my things?
Right. Because you don't know. He might have been packing, but he was not packing nothing but probably his clothes.
So one of the last things we see between Wyatt and Darlene is the fact that she's bailed him out of jail because he did go to jail for the offense. Yes. And she gives him her money because he will not take Ruth's. Yes. And so now it looks as if there's going to be an alliance between the two of them. Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to move on to our featured segment. Yes, indeed. Invented by Tenere.
Oh, man. So for everyone out there, our special segment is titled Hell to the Ozark. Oh, hell no. So in this segment, we just go through as we hear like the ominous music. That's some good Ozark music right there.
This is good Ozark music.
This is just a segment where we basically go through, and it was just moments throughout the show where you would just be like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. What the... Exactly. Love the special effects. So one of my hell to the Ozark moment, I think was... actually for me, at the beginning of the episode, when dude from the cartel comes in, just straight blowing up people. It starts out with stabbing the dude in the hand. I was like, oh, like literally just like, oh no. So that was my hell to the Ozark moment to get things started.
Ooh, I mean, I think mine had to be Darlene slashing the tire. Yes. That was, I know we just talked about it, but it was shocking.
Yes.
Truly.
Yes. No, that was a good one.
And to see the fact that she was in Mommy and Me class.
Gangster, right there.
Gangster. Kills her husband, goes to Mommy and Me class.
Right. And I think
same.
We're kind of moving into what else kind of what we really
our
the whole
biggest
point of the
takeaway. And you might have noticed we glazed over this earlier. There was a reason for it. So one of the things that we see in this episode is that Jonah really wants to get involved in the family business as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Just like always, he's always kind of been interested in that. But he wants to get deeper this time. And he's doing some illegal things on the side. There's a lot going on. But something that we were brought to find out that exists, and it is a thing because we've looked it up for research.
Research purposes.
Drone porn.
Drone porn, everyone.
Drone porn.
That's that good music right there. Yeah, so that's a real thing, people, because we both looked at each other like, wait, because they even said it in the show. Oh, that's a real thing. And we were like, is it really?
I'd never heard of it.
And I looked it up, people, and it is.
It is.
And
would you want to describe some of what you've
I'll just,
seen?
As we dabbled, I put it in the old Google machine, and first thing that came up was on Pornhub. Had to click that link for research purposes.
Research
purposes only. And I saw a drone having a tug of war. It was an anal tug of war scene. So you guys can just imagine, it was the drone, a string pulled to a butt plug.
Classic.
And the porn star was having a tug of war. I guess she was clenching the cheeks, and the drone was pulling, and she was holding on until...
What a creative way to have a tug of war.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe you guys can send in some of your favorite
maybe, honestly, call to action for the episode. If you could just send in some of your favorite drone porn, that would be key. I think after that we'll fully understand episode 1.
Right. Who knows? Maybe end of the season. Maybe we go through and be like, here's our favorite clip of we'll see where this takes us.
And we can play "I Will Remember You" by Sarah McLachlan as we watch them to add heightened emotions. Oh, man. I mean, I think that's all. Wow. Is there anything else to say after that?
No, there really... I mean, I think we should maybe have an update every week, like...
On drone porn?
Yeah, maybe favorite scenes or new... You know, did we work on some? I don't know. If you guys send in amateur stuff, I don't know. Like, we love our fans.
Oh, we do love our fans. We love our fans. The more creative, the better. So listen, I think we wrap this baby up.
Let's do it.
All right. Tell me where they can find you.
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Tenere W. That's at TENEREW.
Okay.
Yes.
And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, not Snapchat. What's that other one? TikTok. I just got on there. And Facebook at Lauren LaGrasso. And download my single Road to Glory anywhere you can get good music. And listen to my podcast, Unleash Your Inner Creative. And come back and watch more of our shows because, you know, if you like drone porn, there's a lot more where that came from, honey buns.
This is the spot.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.